Alright, welcome back, and here we are in section 2 now. So we're actually going to get much more deeply involved in React now. We could go ahead and just go through this section very fast because we have a lot set up with our app that we just installed. But it's really important that we get a handle on what's actually going on. So we're going to take it a little slow, and we might even erase some stuff and put it back. We start with JSX, which is kind of the templating engine of React. It's honestly not really worth getting too into all the complicated details of what it is. It's essentially like an HTML version that you're going to end up having output your actual content that's rendered to the page. So let's go in and just take a look. So it allows us to basically write HTML in JavaScript. There are a few key changes that we're just going to go over briefly, and you'll get used to it pretty fast. It's not too unfamiliar. Ultimately, the point of it is to allow us to create a lot of different files that are modular in nature and can work together, and just to split up our code because one long HTML page or 3 for some huge app is terrifying, and we don't want to do that. So why don't we get into a little bit of the actual JSX and just take a look at it and get to know a few of the changes. Let's go over. So here we are. Let's open up our project that we had just installed, and there's all this stuff in app.js, which again is in source. And okay, we got component stuff, and let's just spread this out so it's a little easier to see. In here is our JSX. So this is going to be, we're going to go over this, we're going to go over what's going on here. Render is fairly straightforward, and we're going to go over what's the functions, but for now let's just focus on this actual thing. So it looks very similar to HTML. We have some differences here, like class name. That is not a typical HTML attribute. And there's a few others that are a little different. We also notice we can put in a variable like that. We're going to go over that a little bit more, practice with it. So camel case is very common. So that's this like lowercase, uppercase way of doing things when it comes to this. And we're going to see that in a couple other examples. But why don't we just get going in it? Okay, so first thing we're going to do is just erase everything. And why don't we just start off with an empty div? Okay, and why don't we just put something simple, like we'll make a p tag, and it'll say hi. All right, so I just saved that. And then if you forgot or took a break between now and the last episode, make sure you go to your directory and npm start or yarn start. Anyway, here we are, it refreshed, everything's gone, it looks terrible, and there's a little hi in the corner, so at least it's working. So if, let's make an error. So normally if I did that in HTML, the page would still render. It would be a little messed up potentially with styles if I tried to add more things underneath because this p tag's not closed, but the page would render. In the case of React, we are going to get an error, and it's very clear unterminated JSX contents. That it shows up nicely in this other file in Create React App, but it's also in your typical inspect console. Very straightforward. You're going to get this occasionally because you will forget to do this, especially with some inputs that you get particularly used to using certain ways. So for instance, some image, I'm just going to put, it's okay if it breaks. And you might just sometimes just do that in HTML, and it's fine. But in React, again, let's see what happens here. We have, again, the image tag breaks. Now we can do this, and that will render properly. Of course, there's no actual image, so it doesn't render, but we didn't get the error. Or you can also close it that way. And that's important to remember for certain things like this that you're going to run into once in a while. Make sure that every tag has this slash. So otherwise than that, making child HTML elements, putting in other information is all pretty standard. And descriptive error messages will help you. So that's just the basic structure, but there's also ways of specifying your attributes on your HTML. So that's your class names. You can put styles in directly, just like you can. But it is a little different. So for the most part, the attributes will be the same as they are in HTML. But for one of the most important, which is class, it happens to be a reserved word in JavaScript, so you can't just use it as a variable. So they have to have it be class name, and that's just a thing you're going to have to use all the time. So get used to putting in classes in this way. So, you know, if I wanted to put like text large or something, that's how that attribute is going to appear. We'll just inspect here. So there it is, class text large. But if I put class, I doubt it will. It'll probably even throw an error at me. No. Okay, let's see. Invalid. That's funny that it actually shows, but there is an error thrown. Interesting. So maybe it would actually work, but you still should not do it. So that's important. Other than that, why don't we just do a style, a direct style? So this one is the most different that you'll consistently encounter. The rest are simply something like class name. We have to actually specify it as a variable, and we're going to put, for instance, let's say text font size, font size. And that's because we're passing actually a variable into React with this camel case property. But you're going to always be camel casing where in CSS you'd normally put a dash. So have that in mind as well. And let's just have that load. And there we are. It is larger. That is good. And yeah, for the most part, you will get nice error messages, and you will also be passing different kinds of information into the JSX. So in this case, this high could be a variable. So why don't we try just making a simple variable right here? So variable word equals hello. What was that? And then through this syntax of curly braces, we can pass that word right in to, there we go. So you're going to get to do all kinds of cool stuff. And actually, we're doing the same thing here. If I put var style, we're also passing a variable, an object actually, into the style. And so you can see already that you're going to be able to do a little bit of dynamic stuff here based on what goes on before rendering, and then show the results here. You can do all kinds of stuff with that in React, and that's going to be the real heart of what we get into in the coming sections, and really throughout the whole power of React lies in your ability to manipulate these variables and then display them through JSX. So let's move on to actually what this whole thing is, a component, and we'll do that in the next video.